them?
In the top, there should have been a link. Bottom. Where was it?
I
Blows the
don't
list.
see in either place.
I don't know.
Anyway, at least now you know their names and
Yeah.
version numbers so you could find them. You use
Yeah.
Google for that type of thing.
Well, towards the top, if you click on home on the link in the show notes, there's a download link there.
Oh, cool.
That was just a list.
I see. Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I, to be honest, already used wget at work in a couple places, only because things seem to work a little bit cleaner to me using that.
Okay.
I like it. And I want to thank Double N Dan for that show. I honestly think he's a cool guy, and I learned a lot, to be honest, from the first couple episodes, because it's still very new.
Sweet. You're doing a lot of thanking today. You must feel very thankful.
Maybe it was that dark chocolate beer. But I digress. Okay. I've spoke a lot about wine in the past, Steve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Grape and fruity. No. Wine, when wine is not an emulator layer extendable thing in Linux that lets you run Windows applications.
Yes.
And one of the things I've said is it's not perfect. Well, they're a step closer now to being perfect. I'll say that.
Really?
Wine does not get a lot of actual version updates. It's a very slow, methodical, stable application. Okay.
Yeah.
And they just did a Wine 1.5 release. Actually, they did 1.4 release on March 7th, 1.5 release on March 16th, which makes me look like a liar, but it's actually more sporadic than that.
Right. Well, this is stable and in development, right?
Yes, exactly. The last, I think, stable version was about a year and a half ago.
Wow.
So I just gotta let people know, if you used Wine in the past and tried to get an app to work and the app didn't work exactly what you thought it would be, or it didn't work at all, now you have another chance to take the dice, shake them, and roll them, and see if your app now works good.
Sweet.
Yeah. I really like Wine.
I'm using Wine on this machine to stream the desktop, this Linux machine, to stream the desktop to a Windows machine. So
right.
I like it too.
Desktop Presenter runs remarkably good in Linux, I will say that.
Yes. Wirecast's Desktop Presenter. Killer app.
Yep. This next link, I honestly need to thank Info Lookup for. He sent this to me more than a week ago, I'll say.
Can you just thank everybody for every link you have from this whole show?
Absolutely. Okay. And I want to mention, I also heard this on Sunday Morning Linux Review, who I also I got to thank for the kind words. Because they mentioned that they were mentioned on the show, and
yeah.
I really liked the fact that they were really honest about, this isn't as big of a deal as other people were making it out to be, kind of thing. And the fact they actually have a female who can do a lot of stuff on Linux. She says she can't compile a kernel. Don't feel bad. You shouldn't have to compile a kernel. And they talk about this, I believe, the exact same link, because it's really good. That's the gist of it. Okay. FS tab. Okay. In Windows, you don't have FS tab at all. And that's because Windows hides everything it does from you as the end user. So you really don't understand how stuff works.
Right.
A lot of times you do something and then cross your fingers. Oh, it worked. Good. And then if it breaks, you think, well, maybe something broke. Let me try it on another computer. And that's all the troubleshooting you can really do.
Reboot.
Yeah, exactly. Reboot. Okay, what FS tab is, it's the hard-coded file in /etc/FS tab. That's the file that tells your system how to do all of its mounting, especially during boot up. That's its real primary thing. So when you boot up your computer, if you wanted to automatically mount a second hard drive or automatically mount a network share, you would do it in FS tab. Okay. With that said, a lot of people need something done. They go find out how to do it, and then they never mess with FS tab again. Because once you got it working, why do you need to go back to FS tab? So I'll just say most people, it seems like, don't really understand how FS tab works.
Okay.
I'm kind of one of them people.
Okay.
So this is a very good write-up on linuxstall.com.
Looks like a great write-up.
It does. It is a great write-up. I just thought that's a really not positive spin on the name URL. Linux stall.
Yeah.
Maybe Linux spike. I don't know.
Yeah, because a couple definitions that wouldn't really fit too well for that. But
yeah, I know.
I'm sure they picked the one that does fit.
Right. And to be honest, one of the things I like about this write-up is they give screenshots on something you don't really need to give screenshots on. It could have been so easy to just copy and paste the text in the page, but it seems like they took an extra step to make sure that when you're reading this, you know what is being displayed on a computer and what is instead them talking.
I agree. That's why I like it too. It's definitely some care putting into this.
Yeah, absolutely. So very good find by InfoLookup. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you, InfoLookup. How about you just say everything and I'll do all the thanking?
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay. This, I don't know who we can. Knuckle. Let's use Knuckle. I got this next link from someone else, right, Steve?
Yes. Who should I thank for this? Knuckle. Thank you, Knuckle, for this. Thank you, Knuckle.
Yes. Knuckle's a good guy. This is over at wine-reviews.net, which I guess I should have put this closer to the other article.
That's all right.
But I digress.
He's doing a lot of digressing this week, too.
I know. Okay. Right around the same time, if you looked at the other updates that were mentioned, Codeweavers, the actual company behind Wine, launched Crossover 11, I guess, XI. And it's the complete package for Macs and Linux users. So I'll say that's now a cross-platform show. I don't have to do that anymore. Right?
So what does it do again?
Oh, well, this is Wine. Codeweavers is Wine. Wine is their free version. They also have Crossover, which is their professional version, which adds a little bit extra customizable, a little bit different interfaces, and supposedly a little bit better results when you try to run Windows software in Linux, or if you buy it for Mac, run Windows software on Mac.
Okay.
I honestly think there's a lot of Mac people out there who, if they knew about this, they would get it and try it, and they might be able to do things that in other instances they might have to dual boot or load Parallels or VMware Fusion or something like that.
I bought a synthesizer, a virtual synthesizer called Zeta 2. It's by Cakewalk. It's PC only. I didn't know that when I bought it. I can't return it. It came bundled with a couple other synths. I can't return it because it's downloadable software. And I want to use it on my Mac. Will this be able to help me with that?
To be honest, the only positive shortcoming I know with Wine or anything with Wine is USB support. And by USB support, I don't mean anything with USB. It's USB drive mapping. So if the device connects up by USB, I believe you can still use it in Wine.
Well, it's a piece of software. So,
well, don't you have to connect to something?
Yeah, well, there's a MIDI controller that it's constantly connected. That probably should be fine, right?
How does that connect?
USB. That might be the problem there.
Honestly, what did you say it was called?
The synthesizer?
The software.
Zeta 2, but it's spelled all weird. We'll talk about it after the show.
Okay. Well, because if you go to winehq.org, I believe, they do have a lookup, which I think does also include hardware. I know it includes software compatibility.
Okay, cool. Sweet.
So I put my fingers crossed.
I'll give it a shot.
Okay. Got another one here. This is okay. This is basically, I don't want to say a glory article, but this is one that I think might be a little bit too fluffery. But I think it's either way a good article, and it does talk about things in a positive manner. It's at cio.com.au. So this is Australian.
Okay.
So if you're a fan of Men at Work or something like that.
That's like a...
I know. Sorry. I couldn't help it.
That's almost a jab to Australia. That's almost like going to Australia and ordering a Foster's beer.
Oh, man. A really good guy, Peter64 on Colonel Panic Oddcast. If you even mention Foster's beer, he gets on fire. We don't drink that crap.
Right, exactly.
Oh, he gets hot.
That's
okay.
Awesome.
But this is an article called Open Source at the Movies, which, to be honest, everybody has to know. Okay, if you go into real production studios, they're going to have to use a bunch of stuff. Okay, it isn't like everything they have is all Mac, everything from soup to nuts. They're going to have a Windows box here or something like that. You know what I mean? It's just virtually every creative company I've ever heard of has at least a little bit of a homogeneous, I believe it's called, heterogeneous network, where they have multiple stuff on there, not just one OS.
Okay.
Hetero something.
It's probably hetero something.
Damn it, I don't know. It just sounded bad. But Linux is actually used a fair amount in movie production now. Yes, I know Blender's possible to do it, but that's not really what they're talking about. What they're talking about is the back-end processor doing the heavy lifting, if you will, of taking all the input and generating the 3D animations, the physics, the lighting, all that kind of thing in the background. Because Linux is modular, the kernel is modular, you can have something very focused hard on just doing that one thing very well, and you don't have to spend, $200,000 in licensing.
Right.
Kind of thing. I read honestly about half of this, which is good for me. So it to me looked like a good read, and they also are talking about video effects. I honestly don't know how much they use there, or what the tool is, or how complex it is, but all video effects are uncommonly difficult to me, so I can't understand any of it.
Okay. It does look like a cool article. It's interesting to me. It says open source at the movies. The little headliner says, many of the visual effects you see on the big screen are created with commercial tools, but open source is asserting itself post-production. Now, post-production is like putting the dressing on the film. You know what I mean? There's tons of things that can be done post-production. So I'm curious to see what Linux has to offer there.
Right. It's like the cleaning up,
Yeah. After you do the filming, it's what you do with the film after you film it.
Right, everything from the green screen, making it not green, to like seaming the audio in, making sure it's smooth.
Exactly.
And I want to thank Blith55 in the Twitch.tv chat. Homogeneous, and I hope he's not just messing with.
Homogeneous means all mixed into one. I don't know, Dor.
I don't know either.
Let's move on.
I'm tired. I didn't even shave. I'm tired. Okay. Well, yeah, I forgot to tell you, Steve.
What?
Last week, I did 7 podcasts.
I heard about it. It's all over the internet.
Dude.
That's well done, Dor.
I could not believe it. I did, which I also forgot to mention last week. ElementOP.com. Thank you again for letting me be on your show. Everyday Linux. I forgot to mention it, so I really feel bad. Mark, Aaron, all the guys over there, they're very nice guys. I seriously thank them for letting me be on the show.
Okay.
But I did Everyday Linux, Linux for the Rest of Us, Android App Addicts, Droid Nation, Linux Basics, and 2 episodes of Pod Brewers.
Wow.
Because Spork Saber was off one day.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
You're prolific.
I know, but now I need to look professional too. But I digress.
It's coming.
Okay.
It's coming. All in good time.
I know. Well, I'll talk to you after the show. I tried the one thing we